My name is Brooke Sinclair, and I am the founder of the Anti-Black Defamation League. Um, I was sitting here in my car reading over um, some of the newest headlines on Twitter, watching the immigrants watching thousands of immigrants walk across the border in El Paso uh, with no vaccinations, no concerns, nobody stopping them. And I scroll through my timeline and I see constant back and forth fighting in between. Really, what I'm seeing is I see Asians complaining about anti Asian hate from people who are simply speaking their truth, people who are giving their firsthand experiences. And I'm realizing that the long term plan to bring in immigrants into America has worked. Immigrants are, according to the Asian woman, Asians own more of New York than any other culture. And I think that's the one part that really just is a smack in the face. It's not that, and this is why I went live, because there's not enough there's not enough time in the day to sit down and write press releases about all these things. There are billions of Asians who have time and money to write hatred about anti-Asian hatred, racism, supposed rants. This lady wrote, somebody Lee from New York wrote a scathing, just disgusting, full page write up about a man who was speaking his truth. He wasn't necessarily saying anything bad about the Asians. He was simply saying that the Asians follow him around in the stores, which is not new. That's been a complaint of Black Americans since the early 90s, at least 80s. So that means that somewhere after we fought, after my family watched their homes burn, they watched the Black Panther be shot out of their establishment in Chicago. My family has seen the city of Chicago change in so many different negative ways as immigration continued to just flood our towns. And now a gentleman in New York, so New York and Chicago are very much alike. This gentleman in New York has been accused of a crime that he may or may not have committed. The truth of the matter is that Black men are jailed, violently jailed, for crimes that they could not have possibly committed. They were at work. They were somewhere else. They weren't even in that whole state. But they get arrested violently, attacked by police officers, and sent to prison for long periods of time. So I don't know what this man did, but if he was accused of crime and prosecuted of crime, and you got 70-30 that he probably didn't do the crime. Or maybe that he didn't do the crime in the way that it was portrayed. I'm just saying, statistics say. So for this Asian woman to have no heart, to have no sympathy, she didn't have an ounce of compassion. In fact, I would really like to focus on her testimony during the thing. And I believe really is that's why she's making such a huge fuss about the man. Because having heard the gentleman, maybe she has a conscience, and her guilty conscience said, ooh, what I said sounds bad. I should distract them. Maybe. Probably not. You know, of the top 5 communist countries that are still around in 2022, 3 of them are Asian. Just meditate on that for a minute. So these Asian New Yorkers, as she called herself in her own testimony, have come to a country that is not theirs. They own huge amounts of property and land, yet they continue to call themselves underserved or minorities. But they're not underserved or underrepresented in any shape, form, or fashion. But don't listen, don't let her tell it. She'll say that she is the victim. Hey, see, this is the beginning of the Reconstruction War of 2022. And anybody who somehow heard this gentleman's testimony and was not able to find compassion for him, you're no longer welcomed here in this country. To the Asian woman, Miss Lee, who wrote the letter, to the thousands of immigrants that are crossing the borders in El Paso, to the Latino immigrants in the LA City Council. Your time is up. It's time for you to go home. We're taking back our country. That's it.